So excited to be joined by Craig Conover here, the Pillow King on Southern Charm for years now, and you're in town. Have you been to Minnesota before?
I've actually been to Eveleth, like way up north.
Whoa.
That's my only time, yeah. So I flew into Duluth, I think, and then me and Austin rented a car and we went to a parade for the 4th of July in Eveleth. And so we really had like a real experience.
Like up north?
Yeah, at a lake, and we had an incredible experience. I'm excited to be back.
Nice. Okay, so you've experienced lake life before.
Yes.
And now you're here in the cities.
Yeah, this is my first time in Minneapolis, so I've learned how to say it correctly, I think, right? I used to say Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
Yeah. Just Minneapolis. But we're really excited to be back in the stadium today, like right where the Vikings play. It's pretty cool.
Are you a football fan?
I am, but my family's from Baltimore, so my Ravens had a tough week. Yeah.
I'm not really excited for the Super Bowl. So just putting that out there, if you had to pick two teams that you could see in the Super Bowl, who would it be? Obviously, Ravens?
Yeah, I would have loved a Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl because just where I'm from in Delaware, like we're surrounded by all of those fans are intertwined. Or a Vikings-Ravens Super Bowl. I think that would have been great too.
You're going to get a lot of fans with that answer.
Lots of purple in that Super Bowl, so I'm okay with that.
Okay, let's dive into a little bit of your background. Okay, so you've been on Southern Charm for how many years now again?
I started filming when I was 24 and I'm about to turn 37.
Wow, 24, just a baby.
I know. I mean, I really spent my 20s or like growing up in front of everyone. And at this point, a third of my life is on television. So but it just feels normal at this point. Like that just is who I am. Or, it's a big part of my ecosystem.
Did you ever expect that you would be on reality TV and that it would like blossom into this company that you have, Sewing Down South?
I always had, like if I could live 9 lives, one's like, a special forces soldier, one's blah, blah. One would have been like an actor going to Hollywood, but we didn't have that in Charleston. So I was never going to pack up and move to LA to try to be on TV. But I think the fantasy existed in my mind. But I loved law school, and when they found me, when NBC found me, it really came down to what would I regret more, not doing this and wondering what if, or doing it and deal with the consequences, later if there are any. So when I was asked to do it, it took a while to sign my contract, but then we dove headfirst into it, and the goal was 3 years, because at the time, I believe Jersey Shore was on its 3rd season, and I was like, if I can just,
that's wild.
it was only like bench line, like I know, like, I mean, there was Real World and stuff, but I was like, if we can make it to our 3rd season, we would have done something, and it would make this experience worth it, and then I can just move on, and here we are in our 10th season, so. But the company, I think that was when I was deciding to do the show, that was a huge part of it. I was like, this is going to give me a really big, strong platform. And if I can tap into my entrepreneurial side, I might be able to launch a business from this.
Smart. Very smart. Tell me about your transition from law school, being a lawyer, then into a pillow company, because I'm not sure if we've heard that route before. And it's so unique.
Someone ran the genealogy on my family, and there is a lawyer seamster like back in the 1800s. Yeah, which is funny.
So it runs in the family.
Yeah. Well, when I started TV, I had to take a step back from law, obviously, because television can be a full-time job, and as much as I love that side, it didn't fit anymore. And so around the 4th or 5th season, I used to beat myself up so much that I didn't have a company. I'm like, you've been on television for 5 years and you have nothing to show for it. And someone finally told me, like, tomorrow's the next day of the rest of your life. Like, just take one foot, put one foot in front of the other. And it really helped me stop being mean to myself about what I hadn't accomplished yet and look to the future. Vera Wang didn't make her first dress till she was like 46. It's never too late, but I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I'm just happy that the company happened organically instead of me forcing something or a product I didn't believe in. But sewing became this therapeutic escape for me, and it was just different enough to work. And so I sat for about a year not being able to turn it into a business. You know, my like OCD and like I would just get hyper focused on stuff, and there was no I was making the pillows, but I wasn't actually shipping them out or collecting orders. And then when I accepted my two partners, Amanda and Jerry, we split the company 3 ways, which was a big decision for me. I grew up watching Shark Tank. You're not supposed to give away half of your company. But my dad was like, do you want a little of, or do you want 100% of this company with 0 sales, or do you want 33% of a company that might turn into something? When my two partners came on, that's when it turned into a real business. And that was a little over 5 years ago.
So now you have become the Martha Stewart of Bravo.
Trying to.
And I have to ask you, you know, what advice would you have for your 24-year-old self when you were just starting Southern Charm and really just like getting into the real world, right? I mean, like post-college kind of still. And, you know, what would you tell younger Craig?
Say, watch your alcohol intake a little bit. But, no, I think I could have been a little more responsible with money, but everyone says that. But I was so fortunate to have the experiences I did. Like, I got it all out of my system so that now I can value things other than like going out and stuff. But it's really just continue to trust yourself. I was lucky, which is crazy to say, but I was bullied so bad growing up that I had to self-validate in high school. So I had that part of me that like if I thought something was a good idea, that belief was all I needed. You know, I was fortunate enough to have parents that supported whatever I would do. But there's video evidence that no one thought sewing was a good idea, and no one thought that I should launch a company, a pillow company. And I think that's beautiful because people watching at home can see, like, just because no one else sees your idea doesn't mean, or sees your vision, doesn't mean it's not a good idea. And so I'm glad that we've been able to build what we have now, and everyone got to watch. Like, I mean, people adamantly rooted against it, and we're just like, this is crazy,
Some
Craig.
of them were your friends, old girlfriends.
Yeah, and I think that's, and you know, Damon Johns told me from Shark Tank too, he's like, don't sometimes tell your biggest ideas to the wrong people because they get intimidated by them, or like they'll shoot them down. Like, talk to someone that's in business or that's done it. And that's something that I love sharing because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, it was tough to get started. And it's like, but you can see, like, if I didn't do it like without any assurance from anyone else, then we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, kind of went on your own with it.
Yeah, like if you think you have a good idea, just trust it. I mean, you know, do your due diligence, but you know, if sometimes it's not too good to be true.
And when it comes to the show, you know, can you talk about this season?
Yeah, of course.
You could talk about it?
You're
not going to get in trouble with Bravo?
No.
Okay, so.
I mean, I'll probably get in trouble, but no, I'm just kidding. I can talk about whatever.
And, okay, so when it comes to this season, you know, what are some of the biggest struggles that you think you had and with those relationships and such? And I want to know, out of the boys, who starts the most drama and why is it Austin?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I didn't realize the effect that the changes that I made in my life, the effect it'd have on my friends.
What changes are you talking
like,
about?
so about like 2 years ago, I really changed my relationship with alcohol, and I just kind of stopped drinking that much. I mean, for me, you know, we were drinking multiple days a week, but it was just habitual. We did't know any better. Like, you know, it was just it's what we did.
Social.
Yeah, it was social. And I used this app called Reframe, and it turned it into something where you earn your drinks or something that you enjoy instead of just doing. And it really changed my life. And so you set goals, and then eventually I saw how great I was at my full potential. I started to make more money. The business started to do better because I was waking up. And once I could quantify it, that was a no-brainer. But what it did was the old me that was really fun at the bar, which I think I was pretty fun at the bar, you know, I was kind of killing him off. I don't know what the right term is to use yet, but like, he was going away. And that was hard for Shep and Austin. They were mourning the loss of that friend. The friend that I had become was a little more like boring in their eyes. It made me happier, but I gave that one thing up for everything else. It made me a better boyfriend. It made me just a better business person and a happier person. That's the thing. It made me happier, and that's
Yeah.
what has to matter. I remember one of my friends got sober, and I was so bummed because he was such a fun friend. And I know that's crazy to say, but it's true. But I never told him that. Like, I would never express that to him. And so to watch them really struggle, and like, I don't even think they've come to terms with it because they don't understand it, but they've really struggled with me improving myself. They're not bummed that I improved myself. They just don't understand that I had to change my life.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting to watch because I'm a friend that believes in lifting others up. Like, a rising tide lifts all ships. Like, I've always been collaborative. I will root for everyone. And I've just never been someone to root against people or try to drag them down. And it's weird when you hear negativity from friends. There's constructive criticism, which is great, and they would probably tell you, oh, we just think he needs to live a little. But hearing negativity from your friends is tough, and it's hard to process. So that's been
Are you in a good place
interesting.
with them right now? Like,
Yeah, I think we have conversations throughout the end of the season, or throughout the second half of the season, where just like everything, communication's so important. I assumed that they knew why I was making changes, because it was so easy to understand to myself. But I think that assumption was my fault. Like, I hadn't ever told Austin why I changed, why I wasn't going out as much or wasn't drinking. And I think you'll get to see those conversations happen and some really beautiful stuff happen. But, life comes down to communication like always. And I hadn't really talked about it because it's a weird thing to talk about it. I mean, I don't even know the words to use now. But I think it's neat that viewers will get to see another stage in our lives that we share.
Yeah, from, the party boys down south, like post-college up to having your own business and your 30s. And your 30s are so different than your 20s too. And, when I think back to like my 20s and now like into my 30s, your relationships also develop differently, from friendships to, boyfriend and girlfriends and everything. And so with that aspect of your life, has it been challenging experiencing relationships that are in headlines and people, that you don't even know are so invested in?
Yeah, weirdly, it's not, the publicity is not the hardest part. I think that's just something I'm used to. Like, my life is just shared with everyone. I think the hard part of like this breakup, which it's funny because I was just somewhere, I said, oh, you've gotten to watch my breakups on TV. I was like, yeah, they're plural now.
Breakups.
I was really mad after my breakup with Naomi. I got so angry and I was mad at the world and drank a lot. This breakup, I was just sad. I was bummed. I didn't run back to drinking, which made me like really sit in the feelings. So the recovery has been a lot quicker. I mean, it's still, tough, but the sharing my life with everyone brings such value to being this like public figure where, I got thousands of messages from people being like, this happened to me too, or like blah, blah, blah. And now I've met the love of my life or whatever. And what you realize is that we're all so similar and go through such similar life experiences. They might be different, but the emotions are the same. And I helped so many people through my like Adderall, I basically used to take too much Adderall and then I just stopped cold turkey. And like, I helped so much people with that it inspired me to share my alcohol journey. And now maybe like the breakup journey is one to share with people too and be like, all right, well, if Craig can get broken up with at like 36, after a 3-year relationship, like maybe it's okay that I'm going through this. I think that's how I process it. Like, I have to find the positive in it, the gratitude. I mean, you basically, you do all the things where you're like, how am I going to get through this? But it's just like time.
How are you doing?
I mean, I guess as good as you can. I'm very fortunate that I've gotten to spend a lot of time with my family, and friends and like my support. And, it's one day at a time. And, it is interesting. People keep saying like, it's not normal to have your breakup talked about on CNN on New Year's, Craig? So it made hiding from it harder, but I think that there's a benefit in that because you do have to face it. a little more. So Sewing Down South was literally born from a breakup, and on the house show or the home shows, I always say, like, no one's ever not better off after a breakup. And so now I have to learn to take my own advice. So it's going to be fine.
So what business are you going to come
I
up
know
with?
that's well, and it's kind of crazy how the universe works. My life, a lot of it was spent in New York, and we have an opportunity to start a crafting company and a fabric company now, but it'll require me to be in Charleston a lot. And I probably would have, who knows where life would have gone. So now we're going to run full speed with those companies. And I do believe that everything will be okay, but it just takes, time.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to Sewing Down South, who would your dream collab be with?
So we're doing a lot of fun stuff with Draper James right now, which is Reese Witherspoon's company, the company that she started. But Martha Stewart will always be, the queen of this stuff, Queen King.
The Martha Stewart of Bravo meeting the actual Martha Stewart and doing a collab.
Well, she's such a cool person, but she was so resilient, and her career was, she was a real trailblazer and
businesswoman.
Yeah, and she did it all so well. I know she had her challenges and stuff, but she just lives. I think that would be a really fun person to talk to or meet one day.
Yeah. You're staying booked and busy. You are traveling the country. You've been to Minnesota before.
I have.
So I'm going to ask you some Minnesota questions.
Okay.
And let's just see, how your knowledge is.
I saw the giant hockey stick in Evelyn.
Really?
Yes.
That was going to lead to my first question. Football or hockey?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be honest. In person, I like going to hockey games. I grew up going to the Ravens games, which was an incredible experience with my dad and brother. It was a little too high up in the stadium for my mom. She's scared of heights. I love watching football at home with my family and friends, but if a hockey team is playing in a city I'm at, I'm going to go.
Okay. Do you know this is the state of hockey?
I didn't know that, but I do know the Hall of Fame is here.
And so my second question is...
Right? Isn't it here?
I don't know if it is.
The Hall of Fame is here.
Oh,
yeah, that's the
oh my
giant
gosh,
hockey
I'm
stick.
a bad Minnesotan.
Yeah, that's where the giant hockey stick is.
I was like, wait, okay, so he has a hockey stick somewhere.
Oh,
I'm
no,
like, I don't know where this is.
No, it's like the biggest hockey stick in the world.
I've never been to
Evelyn? Okay, well.
I know. I'm a bad Minnesotan. I shouldn't be doing this.
Beautiful drive.
This is something that I do know, though. Juicy Lucy or tater tot hot dish?
I have no idea what either of those are. So.
You haven't heard of these Minnesotan delicacies?
I haven't, but Jack, let's put it on the list.
Put Juicy Lucy's on the list, Matt's and 508's.
Okay.
And it's a burger that has cheese in the middle.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. And there's a total battle and stuff.
What's your favorite? Are you allowed
508?
To say?
Okay, well, I used to say tater tot hot dish was my favorite food, which is basically, hot dish in Minnesota is like a casserole, but I don't know why we call it hot dish. But
and
it's
you eat
basically
it with a fork, like tater tots?
Yeah, so
that's good.
It's like green beans and like hamburger meat.
Really?
And
it's crazy how stuff
really
exists in
selling.
America. No, that you don't know. That's why we love traveling to these home shows, because we do try to immerse ourselves where we're going.
Okay, well, good. Now I've told you about hot dish.
Okay, this is an easy way to answer. Where do you think I would enjoy eating lunch from those places today?
I mean, you could try the Juicy Lucy.
Okay, I'll try Juicy Lucy.
But I do love North Loop downtown.
All right.
That's our Greenwich Village. It's super cute, very walkable.
Cool.
And that's where a lot of our big restaurants are.
Okay.
Okay, back to the questions. Okay, staying home and cooking dinner or going out to dinner?
I love cooking for other people. I don't like to cook for myself. I feel like there's no point. I know that sounds silly, but I love going out to dinner, but right now I'm a cook at home person.
Okay.
But on the road, which I am a lot, we'll do our meet and greets, and then we go to, it used to be a nice steakhouse, but now we'll try whatever whatever the locals recommend.
Yeah.
And then just kind of order all the appetizers and just hang out.
I don't know how you're gonna decide where to go because Minneapolis is a really foodie city.
It's been a really cool experience so far.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll have to get a list of recs.
You'll get a list. Winter or summer?
I am a summer guy because I'm a beach guy. I love the mountains, but I can only do 1 month in the mountains, and then I'd have to go home. So I'll do 1 month of winter a year, and like I get my dose of winter right now traveling.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's very mild here right now. Like this weekend.
Oh, this
it's been
week.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
No,
Are we
no,
talking
no.
about the same state?
No, I'm saying like
it was
right
like
now.
negative 20 like 2 weeks
like
ago.
today, like this is all I wore, and I felt nice.
Yeah. Oh, how can people at home take Sewing Down South's style and adapt it up north?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of our stuff's coastal chic because it's based on places I've lived or traveled. So we're trying to evolve and have more collections, but my ADD brain wants to do everything all at once, and Amanda keeps me very structured, or tries to. I think when you're picking a throw pillow, you should pick something that evokes an emotion or like a memory, and so you can really add a new feel to your living room without changing your furniture out. But if we don't sell what you're looking for and you have access to a sewing machine, you should make a pillow because you can learn anything on YouTube. Just Google how to sew a pillow.
Did you teach yourself or did you learn in home ec?
So I had a home ec in 7th grade.
And you learned how to make pillows there? That's what we did.
Yeah, and I learned to cook. So half the year we learned to cook, half the year we learned to sew. But then when I started to sew again, I used YouTube to learn like new techniques and stuff.
There you go. Last question for you, and this is a very, I guess, divisive one.
I love home ec.
I love home ec. Same. Shout out Roosevelt Middle School.
Yeah, my home ec teacher got to go to my store in Charleston, and she said it was a very proud moment. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, this one. Last question. You gave me off topic.
Sorry.
Last question. Bob Dylan or Prince?
I'm such a non-music person. I've been listening to a lot of emo music recently. It's not a phase, by the way. I like Prince.
Prince?
Yeah, I would go with Prince.
That's my pick too.
Really?
But Bob Dylan,
He's great.
They just made the movie about him.
I haven't
Timothy
seen it.
Chalamet.
Oh, really? Good for him. Man, he's really all over the place.
He's all over. Craig, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for having me.
us.
This
So
was a lot
nice
of fun.
to meet you.
You too.
And best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And
Come see me.